fast. Now, let me know, have you ever felt that you were just stuck in your business and you weren't unsure how to move forward? Um, well, we're going to talk about the CAT trick, the 3-step CAT to get unstuck in your business fast. Now, remember, my name is Levi Hunsaker. If this is your first time joining me and my wife on this page, then feel free to like and subscribe and share this with your friends. Looks like my daughter's joining us today, but she's not tall enough to reach the camera this time because I'm on my standing desk. So anyway, I want to ask this question. Are you stubborn and feel like you make decisions and stick with them, even though maybe they may not be the best thing for you? Maybe you think that these decisions that you want to just push through and persevere and push through and make it work because that's what you're taught to do in business, and that's not always the case. So the 3 steps that we're going to talk about are going to help with that. So maybe as you look at this, you're worried about, how is it going to look? How are people going to perceive me? Am I going to lose credibility if I change what I'm doing? That you may feel like that's quitting or giving up or flaking. If you feel like that, I've been there. So drop stuck down below, #stuck, because, that's what got me to where I'm at today. I've been in that stuck place. Being where I was, it didn't feel good, but changing direction, that really didn't feel good either because I felt like I had to keep pushing forward. Getting a lot of interruptions with kids tonight. So life happens, right? Being a parent and running a business takes time. Losing my place here. So good thing I've got my notes to kind of bring me back on track. Have you ever had something where you think, I really need to change direction because what I'm doing isn't working, but you felt like somebody would feel like your family or your friends or your kids would feel like you're quitting or giving up, or that you're going to lose credibility by pivoting? That's exactly where I was before I decided and made a choice. I guess I made a choice. We're going to talk about the difference here in a minute, but I made a choice to get to change direction and pivot what we were doing in our business. So the first thing is you got to own that choice. Sometimes you've got to decide to move forward and not look back, and I call that a decision where you've decided, there's no turning back. You're just not going to go back to whatever it was. Now, those decisions, those are few and far between, but sometimes you have to make those decisions in your life. Now, the difference, the way that I like to look at it as a choice is, if I go out to eat, am I going to get chicken or a salad? That's a choice. And I can go make that choice again the next day and again, right? There's the ability to correct that and make an adjustment. Hey guys, can you go upstairs, please? Thank you. They were turning this into a wrestling match down here now. So, so when you make a choice, decide, really look at it and decide whether it's a decision or a choice, and what's that difference for you. And remember, for me, and I'm going to make this recommendation for you as well, that pivoting is a choice. We had some crazy stuff going on this year. All of our live events got canceled. And so we had to pivot our business because meeting people face to face, that just wasn't working anymore. And really the way that I was taught to build online just wasn't working anymore either. And I was getting zero engagement. It just felt gross and slimy, posting constantly on my personal page. But the way that I was building, it just wasn't working. And really, when we were having live events, my family was paying the price for that because I was gone all the time. And really, that family time was non-existent. And so the choice that we made was to pivot and put more emphasis on family time and make non-negotiable family time. So these are all things we talked about with time blocking, figuring out what the time blocks are, working with your partners, your spouses, your kids, and really just deciding or making a choice on what was the non-negotiable time and sticking to that in your process. But as you do this, you start to think about all the what ifs. What if people think that I failed because I changed? What if I lose respect? You know, all these things going through your mind, all these questions, all these fears. So that's normal. That's natural to feel those things. We're all human. We all have doubts. But how long we stay stuck there is going to change dramatically what happens in our business. So my question is to you, so what? What if somebody else thinks you're a failure? What does that change for you? Are they already thinking that? Does it make a difference? Go ahead and drop your comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. Does it make a difference if somebody thinks negatively about you? What does that change? What does that change for you personally? What does that change for you in your business? As I have gone through this process, I have learned that people are going to think what they're going to think, and you can't change that. The way that I like to think about it is people might need to think what they need to think or say what they need to say, but that does not mean that you have to receive that in your life. So make sure that you own your choices and your decisions and take responsibility and ownership of that. And remember the feelings that you had when you made that decision or choice, because that's what's going to help you continue forward on that process. The other question I want to ask is, well, what if you succeed? Instead, what if instead of being a failure, what if you have success? What if you inspire somebody else by pivoting to go pivot and reach their own dreams? How would that feel? And then the secondary question to that is, how does that change anything? Now, this is the difference. Before, I don't think someone thinking negatively about me makes any difference in my business. But knowing that I just helped somebody and inspired somebody, that makes all the difference in the world. So let's get into the 3-step process. It's a CAT, CAT. So the first C is choose. This process, you're going to actually, make a choice. You're going to have multiple paths that can help you reach your goals. And if you only have one path, do you really have a choice? So I like to say, pick 3 choices. You don't want to have so many choices that it's overwhelming, but you want to have enough that you actually really get to make a choice. And you get to study it out and choose which way you're going to go. Now, when you do that, you're going to actually go down one path, but does that mean that you're stuck, that you can't go back? I mean, you could go back if that's what you choose that you want to do, or you might be able to choose one of the other choices and go try that out. But we're not going to do that aimlessly, which leads us to the second step. You have to act. You have to actually do something. When you do this, you're going to take massive action, not just action, but massive action, because you want to see the results of what that's going to do very quickly. When you just kind of tiptoe into action, that doesn't create a very big impact. But taking massive action, that takes an impact. So the way that I like to think about it is, what happens if you drop a pebble into a pond? You get a tiny splash and some little ripples. Well, on the flip side, what if you dropped I can't think of it, a wrecking ball. There it is, wrecking ball into a pond, right in the middle of the pond. If you drop that wrecking ball, now what's going to happen? We're going to have a similar effect, but it's going to be amplified. You're going to have a big splash, and you're going to have big ripples. So I like to say, take massive action. Go and do it. Now you're going to put time and energy into the choice you made, because if you don't do that, it's not going anywhere, right? So if you don't do it, there's no way that you can make a decision or choose, look at it and evaluate it to see if it's actually doing anything, to see if it's working. And it takes time to build your brand. It takes time to build your business. It takes time to build credibility and authority. And really, as you get out here, and especially in these Facebook Lives, it takes time to build your voice. So give it that time that it needs, but that doesn't mean that you just let it run on autopilot and you can't go back and do anything. Now that brings us to the third step, step number 3, that is test. You're going to test and evaluate. Now, what does it mean to test? Well, you're going to take a look at it and you're going to see, okay, this thing right here, what did that do? And how efficient was the result, right? That's the process. You're going to look at it. Okay, it's not success or failure. It's, was it efficient or was it inefficient? Now, if it was inefficient, well, maybe I'm going to tweak some things to see if I can make it better. And the way that I like to tweak those things is a process that I look at what worked, and I'm going to decide on 3 things that worked. Okay, I'm going to write those down. And then I'm going to take the next step and I'm going to write down 2 things that didn't work, right? So I'm evaluating things that went well, things that didn't go well. And then the last step is I'm going to choose one thing to change. That could be little or big, but I'm going to choose one thing that I'm going to change, right? And then I'm going to go do it again. I'm going to make that change and I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to give it that time. And then I'm going to reevaluate. And then the 3-step process again. What worked? What didn't work? One thing to change. Testing each of these things over and over in a cycle, and each time improving and making things better. If we never take the time to self-evaluate, we can't make those incremental improvements. And that's what it's going to be over time, is little improvements over time to make a big impact. So go ahead and drop below, what was your biggest aha moment from this training today? Remember those CAT steps. Choose, act, test. Those are the 3 steps. Choose, act, test for CAT. So drop your biggest aha moment below. And remember that you can pivot just about anywhere. You've got the way that you're running the business, the way that you're building your business, your education, the things that you're learning, how you're parenting. You can use it in your business or your life. You can always pivot, but make sure that you're choosing and really looking at your options and keeping it in, keep in mind your vision, right? Your long-term goals, that's what I call strategy. And your short-term goals of how you're going to get to that long-term goal, that's what I call tactical. Can you change your short-term goals to navigate and make adjustments that will still reach your long-term goal, right? That's the pivoting that I'm talking about here. You're not giving up on your dreams. You're just changing how you get there. So a couple weeks ago, I think I mentioned that on October 7th, so yesterday, that our podcast episode on time blocking and calendaring was gonna go live. That is now live, so go check it out. You can get there on championhustle.com. You can find all the links to your favorite podcast directories. So go check that out and learn how to make those time adjustments, some little pivots in your time that can help you be more efficient and really get the time back that you want in your life, not just to run your business, but also to spend time with the people that you love. So that's all I've got for you guys today. And, just check out that Champion Hustle, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great night.